talk a
Thank
couple of
you.
things.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Subbu, and thank you, Bhanu, for really joining us today. And the whole idea is to really have a free-flowing conversation because of which we can get people to understand you a little better and more importantly, understand the whole entrepreneurial space based on your experience learning. And you've had some really interesting background where you've kind of done uh, fantastic things. But before we come to what you have done, I would like to start by asking you, when you were kind of growing up, when you were imagining the world for yourself, maybe a couple of decades ago, did you want to be an entrepreneur? What were your thoughts at that stage when you were at the student stage, like most of the people listening to us today are going to be?
To be very honest, very interesting question, Vivek. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I don't even know because somebody calls me up and asks me like an entrepreneur. It is a big question to me. In fact, now people understand because of so many incubators, colleges, schools, education institutions are talking about it, and you know how entrepreneurs have done it. There's some basic education, but of course, I'm not talking. I'm too old for that to say. But we were all, typically when the college comes out, we were part of those learning, get into job, start working. That is was the typical mindset that we're doing it. But somewhere, as you rightly mentioned, it actually created some interest in me to find out some product that I really wanted to build, which was not there. But I was so inquisitive to find out what is this barcode, which is my first company that I started. That's I was trying to find out. And various people, when I met during this journey, I felt that there is a gap in this actually. I think somebody should look after this. It all happened so natural. Maybe it's all shows that because of my inquisitive nature, because I was always, I was wanted to find out, how they do something. Somebody's done some product, a machinery has come, some printer has come, something has come. We see, some new software which is coming and printing with a command. I was always interested. Maybe this interest, which actually was there in me, built in, that inquisitive nature, and that made me to think and to start my first venture called the first barcoding company called Bartronics. So that was actually it happened, and I felt when I asked somebody, they said, when I was trying to ask somebody, they said, why don't you experiment it? Why don't you do something in this area? I said, why not? So it was like a challenge for me. Then I said, okay, let me do this, something new, and understand, what is the need. That's exactly what I felt, the need. I said, yeah, this A B need hai. This something should be done because, and I can create something. And this all happened so natural because of the need which has come, the question that has arisen in the simple terms that you say. Then from there, the story started to create more product solutions, other technology that we have built into this.
So Bhanu, at that stage, if I was to kind of take you back in time to that stage when you conceptualized Bartronics and you decided to kind of take your curiosity to the next level, did failure or did the fact that this is the track you're taking off the normal track, where your parents, teachers, the society may have been telling you, find a good quality job, get a fixed salary and get on with life. Did that fear of failure, did that bother you?
Yes. In fact, the first question was from my family. Like they were all worried because none from my family were entrepreneurs, nor even anybody nearest my region, like my uncle's aunt. None in the family. If you go back my history and check, nobody was an entrepreneur. So when I took this, there was a question mark everywhere. First thing was my family, my parents. They said like, what the hell are you trying to do? You got a great job and you can go to. The first question was, why don't you go to America? And everybody thought like, I didn't get a visa. So they thought this guy, because he could not able to get visa, he's now staying back in India. Those were the days that I was actually going through. Then finally, but in between, as rightly mentioned, but fortunately for me, that fear was not there. Because the community that I used to work, when I have realized when you have all that passion to work and when you have that zeal, the enthusiasm, that knowledge to take it forward, and the network that you build, when somebody is encouraging you from all ends, it makes you to do better things. that fear of failure will not come into picture. The moment you come across that fear of failure, yes, of course, in business, when while going through that, and I learned that this is a failure, this is how I should come out. Fortunately, there were some, for me, there were mentors to. I mean, I took the step. In fact, today we have a mentorship programs. Many things that come across here, but in those days we're not there. But yes, to answer your question, they were all against me. All odds are against me. But I said, okay, I'll let me go and do it because the success was actually happening around the place, and I was a newcomer in that area.
Fantastic. So that's where your passion, your desire to do this was very important. So that brings me to another question, Bhanu, that, while we understand passion, and here's in your case, a clear example of that passion which drove you to continue down that path to set up Bartronics. And it's been a revolution, not just as a concept, but even as a business for you. But if I was to ask you, is passion the only ability that an entrepreneur should have, or what else do you think besides passion you need?
This looks like a lovely interview from you, Viiveck. Subbu and you both are actually inclined to take my interview, but I'm loving it actually. But this, to rewind my back again and ask these questions. So the one good question that you asked me is like, I felt the creativity. Unfortunately, a lot of people say, this is a point that I want to mention to you. Has to be some creativity. You have to be creative thinking. You have to be think out of the box. That is where that actually comes into picture. Second is the planning, and that I learned. I used to always be very, not so proper planning. Then there were mentors told me like, when I realized, yes, you need to have a proper planning. Even you want to travel from Bombay to Hyderabad to Goa, Hyderabad to US, you have a proper planning. You need to buy your ticket. You need to plan well in advance. You need to do a lot of things. So the planning is very important in this journey actually. So that is the second thing. Second thing is networking. I was very good. In fact, right from the college days, we had a great networking things. So that is what I felt like, I was being in the college, I was in the, in the sports, I was in activities. This actually will help you, a person to create by himself actually. So there are a lot of people. So I feel networking is another very important thing. Then knowledge to lead, in fact, in those journey, I used to always lead. Somebody used to ask me who's actually taking care of the next level. Somebody there to in this a college camp is there. Somebody was asking me, so I was the guy who actually used to take the lead, and so always that leadership qualities got inbuilt in me, so to take this forward. And second thing is I was very focused. In fact, I used to never think about any other product in my life. Eat, drink, sleep. Even in my dreams, I used to have barcodes in my sleep. I used to have a big barcode. I used to have code 128, a code 39. I used to always think that, dream that, and nothing else for me. In fact, next day morning, I used to think, hey, when this is something, I should go to a retail segment. A customer used to talk to me. That means I was so much involved that, I used to feel those things actually. So that is one thing. And second thing is, the last important thing is clarity. I had a clarity that I should do something great in this area. So that is one thing. And to ask me the question, the final question is open-mindedness and learning from others. A lot of people that I see in the coming journey, they don't have impatient. They don't learn from somebody. If somebody is trying to tell them, they don't try to listen to them. So this is another point that I felt. I had a lot of learning capabilities because I used to feel, hey, suddenly I see something. Oh my God, I don't know about this. So I used to go back and read book, understand somebody, ask, person like Subbaraju or like Viiveck or somebody. Hey, this is something great about this tech. Can you tell me how can you do it? There was a challenge thrown to us one day, very important. SAP was actually ERP was coming into picture. You were supposed to print a barcode through SAP. It was a big challenge thrown to us. So I don't know where to go. I was not a software company. We are just a barcode hardware company. But who will tell me? So the networking actually helped me. So there was no groups, WhatsApp at those days. But what I did is I went to a CEO. I met him. I took his time. I met him at the place, at the garage. I met him at the coffee shop, at the bar, or, at the pub. And I told him, boss, ye mera problem hai. How can I do it? He says, okay. Then they were difficult to find an SAP guy. And I found an SAP guy. Then understood what SAP does. What does the middleware does? Mine is a small barcode software which has to get printed this one. So I understood the game of middleware. It's a simple thing. It's just something, some command has to go there. Then I built some team there. That's how the learning actually happened. So that's a learning process.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So for those of us listening to us, here is a successful entrepreneur who's telling us, the qualities, passion, focus, clarity, networking, knowledge, the perpetual desire to learn and
Absolutely.
grow is a very, very important thing. And on that topic, Bhanu, I'd like you to spend a little more about Bartronics, and we heard you giving some examples of SAP or something, but first company in the country to work in that space, taking that company to an IPO. Tell us a little more about that journey.
Yes, thank you. I mean, in fact, I still happen to say whenever I go outside, what's your email ID? I keep telling people, bhanu@bartronicsindia.com. So the next ventures people used to always curse me, you don't live that. I used to always tell, she's my first wife, or, I'm born to that. Whatever you give examples, you pinpoint, that's what, you always remember that actually, the first love and everything. We started when I started Bartronics. I mentioned to you during my journey. I felt that the things were started moving across, and we were into retail segment. We suddenly got into manufacture segment. Manufacture segment was a huge area, right from the material management, canteen management system. Everywhere the coupon printing barcode was used everywhere. So every place, the material, tracking systems, people flow, everything was happening, and including blood, when blood samples were given, then the libraries started using an accession number as a barcode. There was a library software that was built up based on the barcode. So there's so many solutions automatically evolved, and we saw huge business opportunity everywhere. Every industry where we went, there was an industry, and we were surprised one day. I suddenly got a call from the government of AP, United Andhra Pradesh at the time, and we said, why don't you work on GAD? There was a department, they wanted the file tracking system can be done with the barcode, because I delivered. I used to go, and every place that I go, as I used to talk about my company. Wherever I get an opportunity, I used to go and listen. If I get an opportunity, I used to go and talk about my company. That's what the success that I used to see actually. I used to go and listen to everybody. If somebody is talking about something about God, somebody is talking about some other biotechnology, some product doesn't deal with me. But I used to understand something is coming out of those things. There's a learning from each place that I went. So this actually helped me in one place that I went, and the government helped me. In fact, all of a sudden, we have introduced first time in Secretariat, AP Secretariat, the entire attendance system was introduced using the barcode cards for the employees, infrared cards, and that became a big story. And we were there helping the government, and suddenly the whole thing started. And all of a sudden, some officer who was working with us, look at how the tech went. He went to Tirupati temple, the famous Balaji temple in Tirumala, and I got a call one day saying that we have some issue here, can you come back and help us? When we went there, we were surprised. Barcoding company drew with God. What should I do that? But God called us. Like, I mean, that's what we felt actually. When we went, they said, like, there is some token management system to be controlled. Then while working with them, there were new solution came. They said, crowd management system can you build? We're using barcode. Yes. We said, yes, we have a wristbands. And we were surprised. We did a huge turnover business. And we ultimately had a temple division in our company called, the temple barcoding division. That's how the entire story converted. And we did a lot of products. While doing this, what we did is, we never stopped at barcoding. We went and started building, manufacturing smart cards. That's how the smart cards were built. Then we went to scratch cards, smart cards. Then we went to RFID cards. Then the tech changed actually from barcode to RFID, radio frequency cards, RFID, RFTC. Then we started building up, the manufacturing sector where we can build our own RFID labels, both hard tags and soft tags. That's how the company evolved. During this evolution, we felt like there is next growth is something that we wanted to felt is let's do an IPO. That's what we took a decision in 2002. Like every company had some problems. We had a lot of financial problems because we were growing so fast. And in those times, there were the banks, the venture capitalists like VCs that we have today. The finance sector was not so great. So we were always depending upon the banks. So the banks always had a very strict rules. In fact, we need to have no check bounce. Everything should be clean. Your record should be 3 years record should absolutely clean. Your bills, your taxation, everything should be clean. And it was a problem. It's a challenge for any an entrepreneur to build such a great thing. So that's how we felt. Why don't we build again that entire from the scratch? We ensure that everything goes perfectly, very rightly, and then we took advice from people. What is the next level to raise fund? They said, why don't you go for an IPO? That's how the first barcoding company in the world, to go for an IPO.
For an
That's the
IPO.
step that we took in 2005. It's the most successful IPO.
Fantastic. And yet again, congratulations on that. But I
Thank
just
you.
want to bring to an attention here, because a lot of people listening to this conversation are going to have a view that here's someone who decided to do something out of the blue. Bartronics did very well, did a fantastic job of applying the knowledge and application to many places, including temples and various other places. Went on to do an IPO, successful IPO. So it's success after success after success after success. But I want you to be candid here and tell me, was it all success or did you fail?
Oh, I failed many times. I failed today also. Just to give a story to you.
Mm.
Well, just coming back from one of the new venture that I did, it was a failure. Failure is there every day. I feel actually. In fact, I come back and say maybe we take a wrong decision. Maybe it's something which happens. We go against the all odds and start working against it, which actually gives you an intuition, like but still we go to that. Yes, we had many failures. In fact, we one of the steps that we took, while temple division started, Makkah Masjid came into picture, and in fact we were trying to do that, and we suddenly got into some other, we went so rampant, we started working in many other temples across the place. We took a wrong decision, and sometimes more of this software started building up, and that decision, we need a small software team, but the software is something that we took a wrong decision to build a huge team, and it became a software company. I'm not a software company, and we took a wrong decision to become a software. And every day we had more problems in the barcode. We had a software problems. We had human problem, but somebody told me, like, they asked me, are you a software company? Or are you a barcode company? I said, oh man, this is something somebody has realized that I made a blunder, not a mistake. Mistakes actually, failures are different. It's a blunder actually. Because we suddenly had some 60-member team. It's a no nonsense stuff. It just I need to have an integration team and focus on my hardware software integration, sell my solution, go back and be strong and strength and prove yourself there into that areas where your core competency is there. You can't go everywhere and see everywhere something jump, because I was loving and enjoying, and we're talking, my team was talking, we need more team here, software, we need, so more funds went there. So suddenly my pipe was draining out everywhere, all holes. I was draining myself actually. That's the one.
And
mission.
the focus got lost
defocus.
somewhere.
I became a software company. I was
Correct.
trying to compete with the TCS, Wipro, Satyam, and all these big companies. And I thought I'll become a big company man, which is not my foray. My foray is my barcode, my competency, my RFID, my smart cards. That is my foray. So,
but what would be your advice to a young entrepreneur? How should he or she look at failure?
Oh, they should get a failure once. If they don't fail, they don't learn anything. And but what fortunate, Viveck, is a good question to ask. This is a time where there are a lot of mentors that come into picture. This is where I would suggest each one of them to have a right mentor in their subject areas. It's very fortunate that you definitely get right mentors in every industry that you like to have it. Actually, somebody is trying to work on electrical vehicles, somebody like to work on software industry, somebody work on blockchain, somebody wanted to come and embedded technology, or quantum computing, deep tech companies, like they wanted to learn. There are experts actually today in agri-tech. There's a university, there are people, incubation, accelerator programs, everybody are there to guide them. In fact, I would suggest everybody should get into proper planning. That's what I actually mentioned. One of the biggest thing is they need to have a proper planning, proper mentoring, focused areas. They should be primary focused. They should not jump. They should not deviate themselves to other things. Actually, the moment you deviate, because they always say, like, the other side is always green. That's what I learned actually. Always, and I used to see another company when I walk in my car, I go driving back, I see a great company. Oh my God, my company is very small. This company has got very big. This guy has got a big car. This guy has got a big. He comes in his aeroplane. He dresses properly. This is all. You need to keep aside and start focusing it on what is your core area, your core strength, what you really came with an ambition, your mission and vision has to be very clear cut.
Fantastic. And that does not necessarily mean that you spend your entire life in one area, because here's someone who
Oh.
talked about barcode, software, and then you suddenly jumped into hydroponics.
Okay.
What is a technology guy who started the first Bartronics company in the country, went public? What are you doing in water now? Why are you
Well,
in this space
I
of
realize
hydroponics
water should
now?
be very important to everybody. Yeah. Because there's a good question that you asked me, Vivek. In fact,
Yeah.
there was somebody where I was listening it. In coming years, there will be a China war, India war, Pakistan war, Afghanistan war, Israeli war. This all okay. These all
Mm,
keep happening, small things. But there'll be two
mm,
wars will happen. One for food, one for water.
mm, mm,
This is for sure. So somebody was mentioning in somewhere while we're talking it, they said like, boss, ye wo do war hone wala hai. So I was got really scared in a
mm,
lighter vein. So I said, this is something bad, and then there's somebody I was going back and we, fortunately, when we went to Middle East, in one of the places that I saw a huge hydroponics, there was a mall which they were selling hydroponics plants, and the founding member, VRE, and we were both traveling together because I was a strategic advisor in the group, and he was one of the founding member in the company. I was one of the member there. We realized, we saw what is this hydroponics. I said then the curiosity grown, like this is something that nobody has done it. So when he came back and saw hydroponics, we never heard about it.
mm.
2017, it was like people were laughing at it, like. And we came and asked, they said, oh, we have got a huge land in India. Why do you want to do hydroponics? It's a place where no man has gone before, where there's no land, the climate is bad. In Iceland, Netherlands, where the climate conditions are absolutely bad, they internally interior they grow, they said. Then the inquisitive nature came into picture. We said, why don't we do this? So then that came into picture. Like every you talk about the tech companies. Like today it is called as biotech. No more bioscience. It's biotech. Then you talk about telecom, teletech is actually happening. Like you talk about banking sector become IT. Without IT, banking never works. Utilities, banking, agri-tech, logitech, everything is say tech, tech,
Tech,
tech.
tech, fintech.
We are an
Yeah,
experts of technology. Why can't
correct.
we build agri in tech into agri?
Mm,
That's where the hydroponics came into picture. And it
mm,
is soilless farming. We use less 5%. So these are all, something which buzzes in your mind. With the 5% of water, you can grow with 100% water we are trying to grow. So these points enabled us to think out of the box. And we said, why don't we
fantastic.
try ourselves here? And we tried one of the, a terrace garden, which is actually a 2,000 square feet area. And a lot of people laughed at us, in 2,000 square feet area, what are you going to do? So when we
Mm,
went 6, 7 feet height, and we were all struggling, and we suddenly put 28,000 plants
mm.
in 2,000 square feet area. I mean,
Wow.
including the entire cover, and we grown 3.5 tons leafy vegetables every month
In the 2000 square
in
feet.
2,000 square feet area.
Fantastic.
2000. They were
Mm,
surprised, I was surprised, and more
mm,
importantly, there is a season when I want to grow some fruits or vegetables. In a rainy
correct.
season, I can't grow some other things. In summer, I can't grow this. But here, I don't require any climate conditions. It's all interior
Mm,
growing
mm.
and no pesticides. The important factorial is no
All
pesticides.
organic, fully
Organic is
organic.
actually absolutely. People who talk organic, I don't believe it. Of course,
Mm,
that is my argument. People say it is an
mm,
argument. But when this is a pure water, grown plant in the pure water, flowing
mm,
water with the
mm.
nutrition,
Fantastic.
and these are tested. So what we did is we went to a place. We came to India,
Mm,
and that's a beauty of the story which I can't tell you. We realized that there were a lot of people who were doing in hydroponics. We went and took who actually failed. The question
mm.
that you answered is we went and took a
Correct.
list who actually were existed, who failed. So people said to go meet people who actually were existed. I said no. We took a call reverse. We went to all the people who actually failed. Right from each state we
Mm,
went and founded them. Why did they fail? We understood the failures. We said we should overcome. Then we went to
fantastic.
the right people. Then started building the entire
Building
story.
the
That's how we built.
fantastic. Fantastic. Why Urban Kisan? Why did you choose to call it Urban Kisan?
Oh, the urban people area, they have no clue idea what is a farmer. In fact, if you all the story today, we are talking about entrepreneurial journey at all places. Can you tell me, Vivek, who is the real entrepreneur?
Mm.
Farmer is the
Farmer.
real entrepreneur.
Farmer. Yes, absolutely.
He is a man actually sitting there. He has no clue, no idea of his output, whether he's going to sell it, whether he's going to bring it on the table, whether rain falls. He has no clue idea, but he keeps on working in this area.
Mm.
And he is a real man. These were the stories actually inspired the entire team. And, the experiments that we have tried with IoT devices, with an app, mobile app, a tech that we built up, because GrayLogic was a tech already we built up actually. And by the time, the founding committee members were actually started building up the entire, organization, the tech into this entire thing. And we wanted to ensure the urban population should know about farming. They should love about farming actually. That is an idea. Urban is urban area. It's rural and urban. That all the houses which are buildings in the place, we felt even in apartment, you have a balcony, you can just put a kid there and do it. So that idea was to grow your own food,
own vegetables,
healthy food, highly nutritional food. Because today challenge that you saw after post COVID, everybody realized eating healthy food. You'll not get badam kismis outside right now. In fact, I'm so happy that all my products are selling 12x, 20x sales are happening. I mean, it's a good, bad, I don't know, but highly nutritional food. People are inclined today right now. Health is something that people realize after post-pandemic. Everybody realized that health is important.
The importance of health is very, very good.
So urban came. Kisan was a word to use actually. Kisan is a farmer. So everybody, I wanted to ensure the amount of the energy that Kisan actually puts, a farmer puts in the field. They should get
people should appreciate that.
Farmer actually, that was a major thing.
Yeah. So the last question I have for you, Bhanu, is that while you've had a lot of practical experience, whether it is from the first time you experimented with barcodes, and then went on to set up an IT company at GrayLogic, and then UrbanKisan, and various other initiatives and things that you're involved in, besides the learning you've got on the field, you've also been someone who's been to many places, including a Y Combinator, and various places. So what role did these things play for you in your journey as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. In fact, today the market is so wide open, Viveck. In fact, every place that you see, I would suggest every entrepreneur today has to be there, meet every place, because every meeting, every hackathon happens, they should participate. Every place they will go there. Because investing community actually looks at a different angle. They should have an art of ensuring that the investing community loves your product. They should find that there is something weightage to your product. So you need to have a real experts. Y Combinator is something that actually helped accelerator programs. In fact, it's a huge challenge that they throw to people. Actually happens, I think, during Jan to March, again June to August. Generally, this is a period. These people actually ask for applications, wherein your startup can go there. There's actually prerequisite requirement is there. You need to put forth. It's a great itself. The application form filling itself, you learn a lot of things actually. As a startup, you start learning a lot of things actually. So that's where I learned.
That was very useful.
Very, very useful. In fact, the way they train yourself and the seed funding they do it, the amount is not a great amount, but to survive yourself, to show that you're a great guy, because they actually look at a person. More importantly, not more than product. Y Combinator, like companies like TechCrunch, all these things, they look at a person passion actually. How passionate this guy is about. They all looked at those qualities actually.
So you would recommend to our young entrepreneurs
absolutely
that
every
certainly
place.
Go to TechCrunch, Y Combinator.
Yes, many companies. There are many places.
University. Many of these places which they will learn from. And before we let you go, Bhanu, barcode, IT company, hydroponics, what's next?
Oh, I'm into education sector right now. So I'm still not able to do it. We are trying to do something different here. That is exactly where the passion comes into picture. And there is something that health also is now already we're there into hydroponics. Now, education sector, which I feel that there's a lot of things to be done. Maybe there are thousands of companies which are built in the education sector. We want to build that niche market. The domain sector is the biggest challenge. If suppose I recently was going through Airtel group, the heads I were talking of the 5G coming in, they require at least 20,000 people only in India, experts. They say we need to train people for 2 years. I said, why can't people? One side is the requirement is there. The other side is the engineering colleges who are actually coming out of the colleges have not been trained on the domain specific course. So this is where my focus area, I thought, at least come back. Let me do something from the initial stage, from the riverside, start training them on the domain specific areas. So I make them experts, probably the telecom, biotechnology, pharma tech actually. Retail has changed today. Everything is becoming into, people sitting at some place, they're able to sell something here actually.
That's
So
all
all these
online,
things are
all
scaling up.
virtual.
And
So
since I'm
that's
a tech
where
guy,
that,
I can build all these domain specific courses
that's
and catch them young is my thing, learning, which I learned about.
Correct, absolutely. So we will very soon hear either of a IPO or a major acquisition or something happening in the edtech space, and I'm sure you're going to
Thank
be
you.
at the center of it. Thank you very much,
Your
Bhanu.
experts are here, definitely there. I'm loving that, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to actually participate in Thai University next
Fantastic,
time.
fantastic.
Take
Yeah,
your help and participate and be in hackathon, and compete with all the other guys.
fantastic. So guys listening to us, you have a severe competition that you're going to face from this young man. Don't go by his looks. The age is just a number. So thank you very much, Bhanu,
Absolutely.
for having this wonderful
Thank you.
conversation.
It's a great
And I'm
opportunity,
sure a
Vivek
lot
and
of
Subbu. Thank you so much, Subbu. Both
people
of you.
listening to us have taken a lot of lessons from your journey here. So thank you very much, Bhanu.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhanu. And apart from what he does, he also has a full-time, activity, chairing the Thai Grad, which is part of Thai University from Thai Hyderabad chapter. And so you have been inspiring so many students and entrepreneurs here, Bhanu. And now I think with this, at least few of the global students will get to know about how it works. And
yes,
please be available to mentor. I'm sure you are. And
absolutely. Anytime, I'm here always there with you.
Thank you so much to be part of this Ask Me Anything, part of Thai community series for Thai University. We wanted to see you again and again, Bhanu, and thank you.
Thank you. Until they're bored, I'm always there with you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Vivek, and thanks, Subbu.
Thank you, Bhanu.